Hello, this is Smikey here, and today we will be taking a look at my Guitar Hero drum set. The three drum pads work, but the cymbals do not. I picked this up used, and so we'll see what we can find. I'm going to flip it over, open it up, and you'll come along for the repair experience. There are little piezo sensors here that when you impact the drum set, it actually sends a signal down to this chip right here. So these three are working, but my cymbals were not. So what I did to find out if it was the sensor or if it was the chip was I unplugged one of my drum sets here, plugged it into my cymbal location while my game was running, and hit my drum, and it did activate the cymbal location. So the next thing I did was went on to Aliexpress and bought some sensors from a company, XNG Electronics. So here's what they came. They're a little bit different, but I'm gonna solder them in and see what happens. So we will be going about to this location, and then here's the chip here. So it really only needs to get soldered to these two terminals right here to send the signal back. Okay, from stock, these two little wires are soldered onto the chip here and here. And then you have a wire that runs down this tube and plugs into your board. Well, that wire was broken, and I thought that was part of the problem. So what I did is I just took some wires, ran them down there, and soldered them in here and here. But that still didn't make a difference because I believe it was the sensor. So when we're putting this back together, I'm just going to solder the two wires to those two terminals and come back down here, and then this should work. We'll solder these two wires here into this old wiring mess here. As you can see, it was starting to break apart. The shielding was coming off. So I'll get that going, and then we'll see what happens. And I just picked up this this new soldering iron, and we'll see how it works. It's a TS100. The new sensor is in on the cymbal. I've got it hooked up to my multimeter, and I've got my multimeter on alternating current, which is the voltage that this sensor produces. That's the signal that it sends out to the chip. So I'm going to get this flipped over, and then we're just going to give it a little bit of a tap here and get it set up. That was a good spike there, about 0.5 of a volt. Here's the second cymbal sensor. As you can see here, it kind of has some silicone holding down or over top of the solder points there on this board. I've already soldered the wires onto this board to replace that this wire that has the lead that plugs into there, because this one was coming apart too. And I've got my wire soldered onto the tiny little wires from these connectors and heat shrinked, and I've already got the other side back together. So I'll change the sensor, hot glue it down, solder that in, and then we'll test it. Okay, so I am in freestyle mode. I have everything wired up. I was going to test it and it didn't work. I would hit my cymbal and it doesn't work. So what I ended up having to do is actually bypassing the circuit board. Instead of soldering them here and having the wires come out here, I just temporarily put the two wires together. We'll make sure they don't touch. And now yeah, so it's working now.
Now that you know how to use the drum, you see how these gems are on the same line? That means you'll need to play them at the same time. To play the two notes, you'll need to use both hands and hit both drum pads at the same time. Go ahead, try to hit these notes. Good job.
Well, the drum set works. I'm not very good at it, but now that it's back together, I guess I can practice. So I will catch you in the next video, and thanks for coming along for the repair.